here are some more Washington quarter varieties that you can keep an eye out for. And let's start off with a statehood quarter variety coin, one that is very easy to miss if you don't know exactly what to look for too. The coin in question is the 2005 D Minnesota quarter with the satin finish that displays doubling in the form of an additional tree in the background. Look to the right of the state outline towards the fourth tree, in fact between tree number 3 and tree number 4, where an additional tree can then be spotted in the background that doesn't actually belong there. The coin was graded by PCGS as MS68 and managed to sell at auction for the price of $192. A very subtle variety that can easily be overlooked is the 1946 D over D Repunched mintmark coin, as the initial D mintmark was struck in very lightly, and additionally the placement of the secondary D makes it even more challenging. Look towards the north of the primary D mintmark, just between the D and the branches of the reef, and you should be able to just barely make out the outline of what was once a faint D. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS64 and sold at auction for $360. Most varieties, especially when discussing double dies, can be easily categorized and classified to try and understand how the variety came about. You know, at what point during the minting process did something happen to cause the variety to come about? This coin is a bit of a mystery. It's presumably tilted hub doubling, but even that doesn't really explain it fully. You see, the doubling here is only evident on the right side of the left leg of the letter M of America, and on the inside of the top curve of the C in America as well. Very interesting, but a bit of a puzzle. Graded by PCGS as MS65, it was sold at auction for $432. We'll get to another variety from 1944 in just a little bit. That one, however, will be from the Denver Mint, when this one is from San Francisco instead. The 1944 doubled obverse Washington quarter is a fairly well-known variety that remains available to collectors with a bit of effort. The doubling on this coin is best expressed on the letters of "In God We Trust," where it is mostly seen towards the bottom of the letters. The N of in, the G of God, and then most of the letters of trust are good examples where this doubling can be seen very clearly. Graded by PCGS, this beauty of a coin attained a grade of MS67 and at auction was sold for $456. The Mint started to issue proof coins again in 1950, after having halted the practice completely in 1942. By 1953, when this proof quarter dollar was issued, proof mintages had more than doubled from 50 to 128,000 pieces. With production ramping up so quickly, it was inevitable that a few varieties were bound to creep in, like this 1953 doubled obverse coin, where the doubling on the letters of "In God We Trust" are the best indicators to check it quickly. The tops of the letters of trust are always a good place to start. This coin was graded by PCGS as Proof 68 Cameo and saw a closing price at auction of $492. Now, this coin will still inspire at least some debate between variety specialists. The 1949 D over S coin is believed to be, by some, not to be an over mint mark, but a repunched mint mark from the Denver Mint in the form of a D over D coin instead. The fact that the initial striking is fairly faint doesn't exactly help the situation either. Looking at the mint mark here, you can see that the remnant of what certainly does appear to have been an S can be detected towards the south of the main D mintmark. Further study may well be required, but at least for now, PCGS has managed to sidestep the issue quite nicely by not including any mention of a secondary D or an S mintmark on the label. This coin is graded as MS66 and was sold at auction for $504. In 1944, the US Mint started using a new hub for all Washington quarters, explaining why some details on the obverse appear slightly more sharpened or modified from the previous year's issues. However, that is really not to blame for the doubling that can be found on this 1944 D coin, mostly seen on the letters of Liberty, especially the E, R, T, and Y of that word, where doubling can be best spotted towards the lower half of the letters, displaying towards the right side in this case. This example of the coin was graded by PCGS as MS66+, and at auction it managed to raise $552. The reverse die for this 1953 proof Washington $quarter coin got worn out, with much of the details for the feathers then getting polished away when it was being prepared for striking even more proof coins. So instead of switching out for a fresh die, the tail feathers were then simply and rather crudely re-engraved by hand to try and bring back some of the definition of the design. This example was authenticated as such by PCGS with a grade of proof 67, and at auction it was sold for $630. The 1950 $quarter is best known in terms of varieties for some rather spectacular over mintmark variety coins, but there is a very attractive doubled reverse variety to search for here as well, and one that can be easily neglected if you're just powering through. There are numerous places of interest to examine to confirm the variety, including the leaves and stems on the left side and the lower wingtips, but the coin is known for the fact that the eagle's beak, specifically the tip of the beak, is doubled very impressively. This example was graded by PCGS as MS67 and was sold at auction for the sum of $660. The 1939 Denver Mint Quarter that we are looking at right now is a sneaky little over mintmark variety coin, where a D mintmark was struck over top an existing S mintmark. To see the effect of this, look just below the center of the reef on the reverse of the coin to locate the mintmark. If you have the variety, then you should see the central curve of the S mintmark inside the cavity of the D, as if it's snaking its way through. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS66, and at auction it was sold for the sum of $660. The Washington Quarter series does truly have some uniquely interesting and just fun varieties that are waiting to be discovered. This 1952 proof coin harbors just such an example. This is the 1952 Superbird Quarter. What this actually is some form of an engraving error or mistake, or a very peculiar form of die damage, forming what seems to be the letter S on the eagle's chest. You know, like Superman. A bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's a fairly well-known variety. This example was graded by PCGS as proof 67 plus cameo, and at auction it sold for $720. The 1952 Washington Quarter is best known for some excellent mintmark variety coins, most of them from the San Francisco Mint, but a couple from Denver as well. And while this coin is a 1952 Denver Mint Quarter, it is instead a doubled obverse quarter. The doubling here is noticeable on the date, with the 5 and the 2 being the most noticeable in that respect. The most prominent doubling is found instead on the letters of Liberty. Pay particular attention to the R, T and Y of that word. Graded by PCGS as MS65, this coin was sold at auction for the total price of $840. Subscribe to WNN, and if you like this video, then maybe check out another video about Washington Quarter Varieties next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.